Hi guys! Welcome to or back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jess and this is my September wrap-up. So this was my TBR for September. It was 7 books. Out of these 7 books, I was able to complete the top 5 here. I was not able to get to these 2, but I will be including them in my October TBR, so hopefully I will be getting to them soon. So the first book I was able to complete for September was The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. So this is a mystery novel about a woman named Anna who is a little crazy. She's often drunk and she loves to ride the trains and basically stalk these 3 young couples that she believes are just perfect and she wants to be more like them. But one day, one of the ladies from one of these couples disappears and Anna thinks she knows exactly what happened to her. So she kind of gets wrapped up in the whole police investigation and the whole mystery, and she really inserts herself into it. And throughout this book we find out that maybe Anna isn't as crazy as she seems. So I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. The beginning is a little tough to get through. It's really dense up to like page 120 or something like that. But then once you get that point, like the story really takes off and it's just a lot faster read. It just took me a while to get through those first pages. But yeah, I enjoyed this book. I think if you are a fan of mystery novels, you might enjoy this book too. I would recommend you picking it up. The next book I completed in the month of September was The Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. This book is about the Chicago World's Fair that takes place in 1893. And it follows the architects that are in charge of building this huge World's Fair. And then it also follows a serial killer who decided to set up camp right down the road from it. So I like this book a lot more than I thought I was going to. Normally with historical fictions or anything that follows a real life historical event, I kind of don't like because it feels like I'm reading a history textbook almost. However, this one I really enjoyed. This book puts you right in the middle of that serial killer's mind and just the things that he's doing and the way he's able to just hide it from the police for so long and go so long without being discovered just amazes me. And then the other thing that I liked about this book is getting to learn about the World's Fair. I feel like, at least in my school, I went through 12 years of public school in America and I didn't even know the World's Fair existed. So I don't know if that was just my school or that's a common thing, but I feel like this sounded like a really cool thing that happened and I'm kind of surprised that I've never learned about it before. But yeah, it was really interesting to get to read all about it. I thought it was super cool. I liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think if you enjoy reading about true crime, any type of serial killers, or if you're a history buff, I think you would like this book. The third book I picked up in the month of September was Ruined by Amy Tantera. This was a reread for me. I originally read it in 6th grade and I remember loving it back then, but I think I loved it even more this time. This is a fantasy story that follows a girl named Emelina Flores whose family has been killed and her sister has been taken to an enemy country. So she decides that in order to take revenge, she is going to pose as the prince's betrothed from this enemy country, and when she marries him, she is going to find her sister and take down this country from its roots. So everything goes according to her plan. She ends up marrying the prince. However, she does not account for the fact that maybe he's not as bad as she thinks he is, and she might just be falling in love. So this book is full of just witty banter between her and the prince. Their romance is adorable. I love the politics that go on in here. The world is amazing. It's such a fun read. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I enjoyed it a lot more this time than I think I did even in 6th grade. And I recommend this book for anybody that loves fantasy. And the great thing about this book is that it reads well no matter what age you are. It's great for middle schoolers, for high schoolers, for college students, for adults. I think if you like fantasy and you like cute romance in fantasy, this is a good book for you. So the next book I picked up in the month of September was The Wicked King by Holly Black. So this book follows a girl named Jude who is a human living in the land of fairy. And she has grown up her whole life tormented by these immortal beings, but she decides she's ready to try to make a name for herself and to kind of put them back in their place and hand them what has been coming to them. So I really like this book. This is the sequel in this series. It's The Cruel Prince is the first one, and I loved the first one and I loved this one too. This one has some plot twist that I thought I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't see any of these coming, and normally books don't do that. Normally I can guess what's gonna happen, but this one left me confused and like awestruck at like the twist that happened. It killed me because it just left me speechless. But anyways, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. I think if you're a fan of fantasy, anything with fae people in it, this is a great book for you. It also has some hate to love, to hate to love, back to hate romance. Like, it's really back and forth, and it's really cool to get to follow that storyline as well. But yeah, I really like this book. I think you should pick up this series if you're a fan of fantasy. And the last book I picked up from my official September TBR was When Zachary Beaver Came to Town by Kimberly, Willis, Holt. So this is a book about a boy named Toby who grows up in this small Texas town that basically nothing happens in. And one day, a trailer pulls up in the parking lot of the only bowling alley in town, and a sign on it says, "Come see the world's fattest boy in the world." So this is when Toby and his friend Cal meet Zachary, and their world kind of broadens. Toby realizes that maybe the whole world isn't as small as his little backyard country town. And so I enjoyed this story. I gave it 3 stars. It's definitely written for younger people. It's definitely a middle grade book, which isn't why I didn't like it. I just feel, I don't know, it's really cute. It's a feel-good story about just finding yourself and figuring out that like maybe the world is bigger than you and that other people have issues and you need to like think about their feelings kind of thing. And it's a coming of age story. It really is. But I didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped that I would. But it is still a very good book. I recommend this for younger readers, like probably 6th, 7th grade-ish. It is a cute book. It just was not for me. So in addition to my official September TBR, I also read audiobooks throughout September. And the way I choose my audiobooks is not through my TBR game. I choose them based on what is available from my library. So I use my personal favorite app for getting audiobooks. It's called Libby. And the only thing you have to have for Libby is a library card to your local library or whatever library you want to use. You put this library card into Libby and you get free access to all of the ebooks and audiobooks that your library offers. And so I love this app. It's amazing. It's a great way to get free audiobooks. But because it is free and it is what they do, what the library has, some libraries only have 1 copy of everything. So it does some things you have to go on hold for, and not everything is available right when you want it. So because of that, like I said, I pick my audiobooks based on what is available at the time that I finish the one I'm listening to and I need a new one. So, without further ado, let's get into the audiobooks I read. The first audiobook I read in the month of September was Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. So this is a book that contains 3 short romance stories that happen at Christmas time. They're all 3 with different couples. Each one is written by one of these 3 authors, and they all take place in the same little town, and they kind of all tie into each other, which I thought was really cool. So I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I loved it. The romances were so cute. It was just a feel-good, fun, Christmassy, you know, book about romance and love, and it was adorable, and it was really fun to listen to. I highly recommend this book. And the last book I have to talk about today, and the second book I picked up on audio this month, was The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. So this book follows Monty, and he is the son of a British lord, and he is a trouble child. He is often drunk. He goes against society by liking boys, like he's in love with his best friend, and he rebels against all authority, but he's old enough to go on his tour, which means he gets to go basically on vacation, and he decides he's gonna go nuts. And so him and his best friend and his sister Felicity set out for their tour, and something unexpected happens, and they end up where they're not supposed to be, running from people that are trying to kill them because they have stolen something. So this book, I did not expect it to take the turn that it did, but I loved it. It was so cute. It was so fun. The adventure that they went on was so well done. Mackenzie Lee wrote the atmosphere of this book and the relationships between the characters so well. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only reason that this book did not get 5 stars is because I personally couldn't stand the main character, Monty, because of how self-centered he was. And the reason is I don't like when characters are super self-centered and spoiled, because they end up inflicting so much pain on all of their friends that are around them that love them, and they don't even see it or realize it because they're so wrapped up in what they want and what they're doing for themselves, and it makes me really mad. But at the same time, I loved his best friend Percy and his sister Felicity. Those characters were written amazingly. I loved them. I loved their personalities. They were amazing. But yeah, I just couldn't get over how spoiled rotten he was and just how awful he was to everybody around him. And that's the only reason this book didn't get 5 stars. But if you are into fun adventure stories, if you like the setting of Great Britain, this is definitely the book for you. I think you would strongly enjoy it. But yeah, those are all the books that I picked up during the month of September. Let me know down below if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. And also let me know what books you read during September, as I would love to know. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon. Bye!